Welcome back. We're going to be taking a look at the second segment of the show where we're going to be talking about the religious tourism here in Egypt, especially with a focus on the restoration of archaeological sites such as the Holy Family's path through Egypt. And this is in light of the celebration of Coptic Christmas here in Egypt. Right now we're joined over the phone by Dalia Ebrahim, a tour guide who's going to tell us a bit more about the path of the Holy Family in Egypt, in addition to religious tourism in general here in Egypt. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. How are you, dear?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Can you tell us a bit more about the path of the Holy Family through Egypt and the progress that's being made right now when it comes to restoration efforts?
Sure. First of all, let me wish a Merry Coptic Christmas to all the Orthodox Coptic people of Egypt and around the globe. Let me please to start with this holy verse from the Bible of Lucas. Glory be to God in the highest, and on earth peace and goodwill to people. So in memory of the Holy Nativity of Christ in Bethlehem, Palestine, I would like, of course, to shed a light on reviving again the trip of the Holy Family to Egypt, especially that this marvelous event happened here on our land 2,000 years ago after the Nativity of Christ. Egypt's land of security and refuge to many prophets who either lived or moved in and out safely.
Yes.
So let me start first that the story of this holy trip started when Joseph the carpenter, cousin of Virgin Mary, had a message from Archangel Michael, and that is mentioned in the Bible of Matthew. The message was, "Arise, take the young child, his mother, and flee to Egypt. Stay there until I bring you word, for Herod, the Jewish king, will seek the young child to destroy him." For this, Joseph the carpenter prepared a donkey and took the Holy Family in a very long walk, which is estimated to be around 3,000 kilometers all the way from Palestine to Egypt. So they first started the trip from Sinai, and we have a very old papyrus that was found in Fayum, and it has been translated and published in the University of Köln in Germany. That an estimate time of 3 years and 11 months were the total time of their stay in our beloved country. Also, the Egyptian patriarch Theophilus, in the 4th century AD, he was responsible to allocate 25 holy sites, locations which today house either a water well, a shelter, a cave, a church, or a monastery where the Holy Family took a shelter or had a drink or had a stop. Would you like me to trace the holy spots, all of them, or we can just pass through a few which are the most important?
Yeah. The most significant ones are probably what would attract more tourists.
Sure. The first entrance to Sinai actually doesn't have really that much to see because they are mostly in ruins.
Yes.
So if we come to the Delta area in Lower Egypt, there is a place called Tel Basta, where we have a monastery, a water well. We have the church of El Mahamma in Mostorod, where baby Christ had like a shower from his mom, Virgin Mary.
Yes.
We have a church in Kafr Sheikh in Sakha, where we have a very valuable holy piece of stone with the footprints of baby Jesus. They also stopped at Bilbais and Samanud. Then they went using the Nile River to the Western Desert, to Wadi Shahid, which is nowadays known as the Nasrun Valley.
Yes.
We have very important 4 glorious monasteries standing there. St. Macarius, the Syrian, St. Bishoy, and the Baramos. They are very old and very important monasteries where travelers can really witness the monastic life, the heritage, the monuments. They can hear the live music, and, Coptic melodies in the churches where still the service is practiced in Coptic language.
So can you tell us how important is religious tourism for the tourism industry here in Egypt?
Of course, for the economy, it's very important because, you know, in tourism, we have a variety of tourism aspects like cultural, diving, beach, safari, all sorts of tourism. So this kind will be like a spiritual pilgrim.
Yes.
And we are blessed to have the Vatican supporting, and the Pope of the Vatican made a remarkable visit to Egypt based on an invitation from President Sisi in 2017, where thankfully they have added Egypt on their Vatican catalog of the Christian holy sites that must be visited in Egypt by pilgrims of all different nationalities and religions, by the way. So it's not just addressed for Christian pilgrims, but any religion can come and enjoy this spiritual, adventurous holy trip.
Yeah, how do you see the restoration itself? How will this affect the number of tourists? Do you think that this is going to help, promote religious tourism in general in Egypt? Is it going to be a larger portion of the tourists that we see?
We already have certain pilgrims that come from Jerusalem to Egypt to enjoy some locations like, of course, the area of Babylon in Old Cairo, where we have the religious complex. They come to visit the church of St. Sergius, which hosts the crypt or a very valuable cave where the Holy Family has taken shelter. They enjoy also visiting the monasteries of Wadi Natron or Natron Valley in the Western Desert.
Yes.
And they can go as far as Upper Egypt in the south. We have Jabal al-Tayr Monastery.
Yes.
We have the Deir al-Muharrak in Asyut. Monastery of Dronka in Asyut as well was the last stop where the Holy Family have been.
Yeah, can you tell us a bit about the history of St. Catherine and its historical significance? Why is it an attraction for tourists of this form?
Sure. It's a very, very holy site, and it's also very remarkable to all monolithic religions, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. You know that there is Mount Moses, where Prophet Moses made the Exodus trip out of Egypt by saving the Israelites or the early Hebrews. So he got the message of Judaism on Mount Horeb or Mount Moses. This is very close to St. Catherine's mountain, where we found the remains of the holy saints. And the monastery itself dates back to the 6th century, built by Empress Helena, who was known to be a very good Christian. She was the mother of Justinian, the Roman emperor. They were very known to be very good and dedicated Christians. The area is very holy. It's like a religious complex. We have Muslim monuments. We have Jewish monuments. We have the burning bush, of course, the flourishing tree that was called the burning bush that guided Moses and his people during the Exodus trip out of Egypt.
Yeah, it's also interesting that St. Catherine is obviously a religious monument, but also some people go there for the natural tourism of seeing natural sites like the mountainous areas and the local nature there.
Sure. St. Catherine actually is announced to be a protectorate. It's a natural protectorate where you can enjoy watching not just plants, rocks, mountains, and geology of Sinai, but there are also birds and animals there.
Yes. Can you also tell us about the kind of tourists that you see when it comes to religious tourists? They must be different from the ones who want to go out on adventures or touristic places like Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada.
Sure. We said that the main sponsor for reviving the whole program was the Vatican. So we are actually addressing certain people, certain groups who are really interested to track and tackle the most important holy sites, not just in Egypt, but they will start the trip from Europe, by the way. They start from the Vatican. The coming stop will be across the Mediterranean in Palestine first, and then they will come to Egypt.
Yes. Can you tell us more about the media or social media and what role it kind of plays when it comes to promoting these projects? I mean, we've seen recently the government or the nation itself focusing on promoting, archaeological findings and, the pharaonic history. But is there going to be a focus on the religious aspect of tourism as well?
Actually, the social media is our tool now, and I would like to tell you and shed light more on the effort, which is a joint venture work between not just the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, but the Ministry of Local Development,
Yes.
The governorates themselves that are housed to these ancient, historic, religious sites of the trip of the Holy Family. We have also candidates coming from Spain, Germany, Netherlands, and the Vatican candidates have been visiting Egypt many times. This was all announced on social media like YouTube, Instagram sites of the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, because we were really focusing that this is a new kind of tourism. They call it spiritual tourism. It's not specifically religious tourism.
Yes.
This will help fill the gap between the winter and summer seasons of tourism, which actually sometimes see ups and downs of numbers of tourists.
Yes.
So we will have this like all year round advertised. Let me tell you also about the government efforts of improving infrastructures in many of those areas that were very hard and out of reach. Many of the areas were like slums, full of underground water and garbage. All of this has been cleared in many sites. So the first plan is to focus on 10 of the 25 sites. So let's give those big attention, raise funding by NGOs, by some business people who are interested in the project, and they see a big economic revenue in helping Egypt stand back on its feet, of course, after the COVID lockdown and slowdown of tourism.
Definitely. Hopefully tourism will go back to the way it was pre-COVID, and even better than that. Dalia Ebrahim, a tour guide, thank you so much for joining us over the phone and shedding light on religious tourism. We're going to take a short break and get back to the episode.